Hello everyone, today we are going to study the structure of chromosomes for class 10 biology. We know that all the cells, whether plant or animal, consists of cell membrane, cytoplasm and a nucleus. The nucleus contains a network of extremely thin fibers or thread, collectively called as chromatin fibers or material. When we see a cell under the compound microscope, the nucleus is visible. This is the figure of a nucleus, and we can see the chromatin fibers in the stained cell. In the beginning of cell division, the chromatin material gets condensed to form distinctive structures called chromosome. Otherwise, when it is not metabolically active, at that time the chromatin reticulum is like a thread-like structure which is all spread over here. In the figure, we can also see the nuclear envelope. It has the nuclear pores and it also has the nucleolus, and we can see inside the fluid like material called as nucleoplasm. So basically this structure is of the nucleus, which tells about the chromatin reticulum. Walter Fleming He was a German biologist. In 1882, while observing the cell division in the larva of salamander, noticed the chromosomes as thread-like structures, and he called the cell division as mitosis. We have studied this earlier in my previous video. However, the first one to investigate the structure and functions of chromosome was Thomas H. Morgan. Chromosomes are a group of thread-like structures of different lengths and shape. If you are talking about human chromosomes, we have 23 pairs or 46 chromosomes. So are all the 46 chromosomes same? No. They are differed on the basis of length, shape and function. Basically, when we draw a chromosome, it looks like this. There is a centromere in the center. This is one chromatid and this is another chromatid, and this is the centromere. This centromere is also known as the primary constriction. Primary constriction is present in all chromosomes, but secondary constriction is present in not all the chromosomes. Secondary constriction tell the locations at which the nucleoli are assembled. It is also called as NOR, nucleolar organizer region. Because it is involved in the formation of nucleolus. So primary constriction is the place where the centromere is present, and the secondary constriction can be present elsewhere, usually in the chromosomal arms. Those chromosomes in which the secondary constriction is present are called as satellite chromosomes. Now let us study types of chromosomes. As I told you, not all the chromosomes are same. The first type of chromosome is based on the position of centromere. When the centromere is displaced, this is the structure of chromosome we just discussed, and this is the centromere. So if I talk about one chromatid with the centromere in the center, we say that if the position of the centromere displaces in this entire chromatid, the chromosomes differ. The first type of chromosome is metacentric. Second is submetacentric. Third, acrocentric. And fourth, telocentric chromosomes. The four types of chromosomes are on the basis of position of centromere. When the position shifts from this place, it can be of varied types. To know about the details of what these four kind of chromosomes are, you can push the I button to know about the details in my previous video. Now the second category of chromosomes lie under autosomes and allosomes. Of the total number of 46 chromosomes in humans, 44 chromosomes, or we can say the first 22 pairs, are called as autosomes, as both the members of the pair are similar to each other. But the last pair are also known as sex chromosomes or allosomes. These are not the same. If both of them are same, like this, one of this is X, another one is X, we call this to be a female. But if one is X and another one is smaller and is Y, we call it to be male. So in a human being, the first 44 chromosomes are the same, plus it can be XX, 44 plus XX, this would be a female individual, and if it is 44 plus XY, would be a male individual. The first 4 chromosomes are nothing to do with the gender, and so they are called as autosomes, but the last pair of chromosomes, since they refer to gender, we call them as sex chromosomes. The chromosomes are made up of histone proteins and DNA. Now these histone proteins are globular proteins which are already present in our body. These are round structures like this, and when they gather 8 in number, the DNA actually winds around it. This is 4 and just behind is another 4, and in a group of 8 the DNA winds around this like this. The DNA's length is so much that we cannot just keep it inside the nucleus if it is not wounded up. So if it is winding like this, it can be contained inside the nucleus. So this structure, the 8 histone proteins and the DNA winding together, is called as nucleosome. So if I consider this as one nucleosome, there are many nucleosomes which are present in this manner, another nucleosome, and this is what is actually the chromatin reticulum, the chromatin thread. And this chromatin thread, when condenses, it forms the chromosome. So basically, what is a chromosome? A chromosome is an aggregation of histone proteins and DNA in a fixed pattern. 8 histone proteins around which the DNA winds up like this to form a nucleosome, and this is a chain of nucleosomes which form the chromatin material, and this chromatin material is then arranged in the form of the chromosome, as I discussed in this video earlier. Let us study about the DNA. The full form of DNA is deoxyribose nucleic acid. It is called nucleic acid because it has acidic pH and it is present inside the nucleus, and the components deoxyribose are present inside the DNA. It has been proved to be the basic component of the chromosomes. I just now told you that the chromosomes is made up of histone proteins and DNA. So the DNA is passed down from one generation to another, and so it is responsible for the transmission of hereditary traits of an organism. The DNA was first of all studied by Rosalind Franklin. She was a physicist. In 1953, she actually told about the nature and shape of DNA. However, the entire structure was worked out by Watson and Crick, for which they were awarded the Nobel Prize also. So we are going to study about the double helical structure of DNA, which was proposed by Watson and Crick, which we approved till date. Watson and Crick told their DNA, they explained the DNA, and we study the structure of DNA till date, what Watson and Crick told. The DNA is made up of 2 complementary strands which are parallel to each other. They are wound around each other in the form of double helix. Since this is in shape of a helix, we call it as double helix. These are the two complementary strands which are labeled, one as 5' and 3', and this one is 3' and this is 5'. Each DNA strand is made up of many nucleotides. This is one strand, this is another strand. So each DNA strand is made up of many nucleotides. Now what is a nucleotide? Each nucleotide is composed of a sugar. This sugar is a pentose sugar. Pentose means it is having a 5 carbon sugar. So this is a ribose sugar. Then there is a phosphate group and a nitrogenous base. This is the basic structure of a nucleotide. You can see this is a phosphate molecule and this is the pentose sugar, the ribose sugar, to which is attached a base. Now what is a base? A nitrogenous base. Okay, that means it contains the nitrogen. Nitrogenous bases are of two types: purines and pyrimidines. Purines are further of two types: adenine, guanine. Pyrimidines are further of two types: cytosine and thymine. So in all, the nitrogenous bases are of four types: adenine, guanine, cytosine and thymine. And when we will be studying the structure of DNA, we will be referring adenine as A, guanine G, cytosine by C and thymine by T. It is compulsory that adenine and thymine base pair with each other. That means A and T will base pair with each other by a double hydrogen bond, and guanine and cytosine will base pair with each other by a triple hydrogen bond. This is compulsorily that adenine and thymine will be base pairing and guanine and cytosine will be base pairing. Now this is the arrangement of the nucleotides in the two strands. This is one strand and this is the complementary strand. They both are parallel to each other, and this is the sugar and this is the sugar. The blue one is the sugar and the yellow one is the phosphate. So we call this as the sugar phosphate backbone, this and this. So there are two sugar phosphate backbones, and in the center are the nitrogenous bases which are bound by the hydrogen bond. I told you that adenine and thymine will base pair by double hydrogen bond. So here if this is A, this is T, there will be double hydrogen bond. If this is C and this is G, there will be triple hydrogen bond. In this way the two complementary strands are together. There can be as many as 2000 such pyrimidine and purine pairs that hold the two strands in a single DNA molecule. So this was the structure of DNA, and DNA is made up of extremely small complex unit of inheritance called as genes. But the details about genes and the structure and function of genes I will be dealing in my next video when I will be teaching genetics. Thank you.